This is Valley News Live at 10.
It's really hard. But we're all trying to keep it together.
Grand Forks family members say they still had hope that they'd be able to find a loved one alive. But after 8 days after Fernando Balboa went missing, those hopes were dashed when law enforcement found his body.
Valley News Team's Joshua Peguero spoke with Balboa's family. It's a story you'll only see here on Valley News Live.
Fernando Balboa's family members are planning something they never thought they'd have to plan.
We thought we were going to find him. We never expected that this was going to be the result. We were hoping that we would find him. He would come back home to his children.
They're setting up funeral arrangements for the 55-year-old man from Grand Forks.
It's hard not to hear his voice when I heard it every day.
Balboa went missing earlier this month. His body was discovered days later in an empty field near East Grand Forks. For the family, questions linger about the events that led to his disappearance.
I just thought he was just like venting or like just wanted time out for himself, and then when we got the call that he was found and everything, I was just like utterly shocked.
Balboa was known to call his kids multiple times a day. On the day he went missing, he left behind his cell phone and wallet.
That's what I'll miss a lot. I'm just gonna miss the calls.
Law enforcement does not suspect foul play in the death or disappearance of Balboa. His family was also very complimentary of the Grand Forks Police Department. Balboa is described by his kids as a positive person who encouraged them to go to church.
He was always really upbeat person, always really caring. Loved going to church on Sundays. He always asked me to go with him.
He would call me, he'd come home, he'd check in, he'd come for his medication.
Medication Balboa needed to take every 4 hours, which made the need to find him even more urgent. His kids say they can't thank the community enough for posting signs and helping with the search.
Some people didn't even know him and they were out there.
Although they still wish for a different outcome. In Grand Forks, Joshua Peguero, Valley News Live.
Investigators said there was no visible trauma on Balboa's body. Autopsy results will provide his cause of death.
Police in Moorhead are asking for your help locating 35-year-old Amy Murray. She has multiple open warrants, including theft of a motor vehicle and check forgery. If you have any information about her, you are urged to call dispatch at 701-451-7660. Police in Fargo are answering back after they say a local media outlet published misinformation about a traffic stop early Monday morning. That incident happened in the 4300 block of 9th Avenue Circle South. It ended with a broken car window and injured officers and left a man with a broken nose. 26-year-old Abraham Nye told the media outlet that he felt he was racially profiled and that his rights were violated. Fargo police say that wasn't the case and want to show the public what happened. Nye is charged with fleeing an officer, preventing arrest, and possession of marijuana. You can find the entire video Fargo police posted on our website, valleynewslive.com.
The 44th annual Downtown Fargo Street Fair begins tomorrow, and it's the second year that alcohol will be served.
Valley News Team's Katie Opperly found some vendors putting the finishing touches on their tents, asking them how they feel about alcohol at the fair.
Vendors line the streets of downtown Fargo for the annual street fair. There's a lot to see with a little bit of everything to buy.
I'm looking forward to a really good weekend.
And this includes tents that sell alcoholic beverages for only the second year ever. Last year's street fair sparked up conversation, questioning if alcohol has a place at the street fair. But with some saying it was overall a great success, the selling of alcohol is expected to expand this year. The owner of Garden Cards and More says the stands selling alcohol have just as much right to be there as anyone else.
I think it's okay. I think breweries are just like crafts and arts. I mean, that's an art in itself to brew that I think it fits right in.
And she's not alone in her opinion. Krepp's Family Farm says they welcome it.
Not concerned at all. People in Fargo Moorhead are very nice folks and they mind their manners for the most part. And we do sell Bloody Mary mix and spicy Bloody Mary mix. So if you want a bloody beer, come on by and see me.
It's Krepp's Family Farm's first first time at the fair, but Cards and More says they have been coming to Fargo all the way from Missouri for 4 years, and they didn't even notice a difference. I spoke to several vendors today, and each and every one of them said having alcohol at the fair is just fine. Reporting live in downtown Fargo, Katie Opperly, Valley News Live.
All right, Katie, thank you. That fair begins tomorrow, as we said. It ends on Saturday. We also have more information about the street fair on our website. Go to valleynewslive.com.
Police are searching for information after a rash of vehicle vandalism in Fergus Falls. Police say the vandalism took place late last night or early this morning in the 400 and 500 blocks of 2nd Avenue North. All the vehicles had white spray paint on them, and if they were left unlocked, the vandals stole items inside. A Fergus Falls woman and her fiance woke up to find their BMW with inappropriate images drawn on the side.
You feel victimized. You feel sad because we love our town. Fergus Falls is a great place to live, and we've never gone through anything like this, so it's very disheartening.
Kulzer says whoever vandalized the car also stole change and a GPS from inside their vehicle. Fergus Falls police are asking anyone with information to call them, 218-332-5555.
A national wrestling competition is in Fargo, and some moms could be found coaching with a baby on their backs. But one mom called her whistleblower hotline after a rule established just today changes that. The mom tells us for years they've seen fellow coaches with young children safely attached to their backs. So they were surprised when just today new ground rules were established after they spent the last 3 days coaching with their 1-year-old alongside.
Over the last several years, a lot of the girls that we grew up wrestling with have been coaches here as well, and last year, the year before, have had their children here. So we were definitely confused when they told us that we had to take our daughter off the floor.
The new rules say effective immediately, minors accompanying coaches will not be allowed on the competition floor. To read the new rules in full, go to our website and click on this story.
If you were unsuccessful in the initial deer lottery in North Dakota and want to try again, the deadline to submit an application for a remaining license is July 24th. You must apply online. There are still more than 6,000 deer gun licenses available in 19 units. If you did succeed in getting a license in the initial lottery, they won't be mailed until after you buy a 2019-2020 hunting license.
Speaking of hunting, mosquito spraying is underway as we speak in rural Cass County as Vector Control hopes to gain the upper hand on a big outbreak of skeeters.
While efforts are showing positive signs, Valley News Team's Callie Hubbard reports on how we are not out of the woods yet.
Vector Control says that they've been working tirelessly all summer long to keep as many mosquitoes out of the FM and rural areas as they can, but one of the biggest problems is the cost and effectiveness of these products along with rain. So is it really all worth it?
Reduction in numbers seem like they're following along with the trends of what we've seen in the past.
After Tuesday night's ground spraying, Ben Prather, who heads up Vector Control, says mosquito trap numbers went down by 2/3. Prather says mosquitoes normally have 4 hatches a year. He says we're on the back end of that. However, this round looks the worst.
As the days wear on, we're going to start seeing some more challenges in the second half of July.
I decided to go to one of the most mosquito-infested areas in the metro, Rose Creek Parkway in South Fargo. Residents say Vector Control's numbers are spot on.
This year is especially bad compared to other years.
Take a look at Marvin Tion's legs. He says those mosquito bites have turned into scars. And although he hasn't really seen a difference after the recent spraying, others have.
The mosquitoes would be bad if we didn't have the spray plane going.
Prather says that the numbers are looking good for now, but they'll need to do some more spraying. And that includes another attack from the sky on Friday. In South Fargo, Callie Hubbard, Valley News Live.
The aerial spraying on Friday is set to begin at 8:15 in the evening, and Prather says they'll do more spraying if needed. Some communities in North Dakota are fighting the mosquito battle with aerial spraying. Crews say the product they spray is not harmful to humans or animals, but insects other than mosquitoes are at risk. Honeybees are among the insects that can be harmed by the pesticide. This puts responsibility on their keepers to make sure they make it home safe, especially with a declining bee population.
So that way the bees cannot leave or enter the beehive, and therefore the insecticide or pesticide can't affect the bees.
Crews will continue to spray across the state.
Residents in Daisy, North Dakota are battling some major street flooding following a heavy rainfall this morning. We were told somewhere at 4 inches. Residents living there tell us that the sewer lines have been knocked out, leaving them with flooded streets, and pumps are being used to help relieve the flooding.
Valley News Live 10 at 10 continues with no wait weather.
Morning storms, and a few of us saw storms in the distance from our Valley Skycam here in South Fargo. You could see the growing cumulonimbus clouds really fade away as we headed into the nighttime hours. Here was a look at a couple of those storms. This one in Cart, Minnesota, there in Lake of the Woods County, for a tornado-warned storm that worked its way through the southern reaches of Lake of the Woods. And Sunday's storms causing damage in Fergus Falls. We've shown a lot of that lately. Laura captured this walk in the park with the twisted trees. Here's a look at some of the rainfall estimates by Doppler radar. Most of this fell this morning, minus this afternoon stuff in northwest Minnesota along the Highway 200 corridor and points south. Very heavy rain estimated by Doppler radar to be right around 5.1 inches of rain just off to the west of you in Kinzel. And then, well, in Daisy, about 3.5 to 4 inches estimated by Doppler radar. We got about an inch here in the FM area, but down to the south and east southern Clay County with all the yellows there, 1 to 2 inches of rain estimated by Doppler radar. Those storms continued their way north and, well, brought abundant rain to the areas they hit. And just heading into the night hours, we have very quiet conditions here in the valley. Off to the west, thunderstorms continue to rumble through the central portion of the Dakotas, and the main risk from these is hail. Now, there's a storm cell just to the south of the Bismarck area. It's about, well, 90 miles from the edge of our viewing area, so it'll be a while before they make their way here. And hail, the main threat from these storms, although they too have shown a weakening trend as we head into the nighttime hours. Here's a time lapse of the setting sun as that sun in the western sky mingled with the clouds tonight. Just absolutely gorgeous, the sky on fire. And here is a look from our Dakota Magic Casino camera out there, enjoying the same view with the clouds and the sun. Here's your current conditions. Out at Hector, 75 degrees. We have a 6-mile-per-hour wind, and it's sticky, folks, with dew points around 70. That's more typical of the Gulf Coast. A little bit oppressive if you felt that outdoors. 69, the cool spot, or one of the cool spots in Grand Forks, 68 for Badette. Bemidji right now, 74 degrees, and off in Lakes Country, a pair of 75s for Detroit Lakes and for Fergus Falls. Hour-by-hour forecast shows our risk of severe weather is all but done across western portions of Minnesota. But as we look across the eastern third of North Dakota, some of those storms could be approaching our area as we get to between, say, 1 and 2 in the morning. The risk of severe quite small, but if there is going to be severe, the main risk tonight will be gusty straight-line winds and the possibility for a few of these more robust cells to have some hail with them. This continues into the daybreak hours as we start out in the 60s. Watch out for some patchy areas of dense fog as well first thing in the morning. And then as we go through the afternoon, Thursday looks like a hot one. Midday temperatures climbing into the 80s, mid-80s in the far south. And our southern places will have a shot at 90 degrees in the afternoon. And with the heat of the day, there will be a risk for some isolated thunderstorms that could be strong to severe once again. Then it looks like a cooler trend. But in Fargo tomorrow, we start out in the mid-60s, rise up into the mid-80s once again. An early morning thunder chance and a slight chance of an afternoon one as well. Most of the area looks to stay dry, though, and all of us will be in the 80s. Another photo to share from Brenda. This is that moon buried in the clouds. It's been bright and very large there. Here's a look at your forecast for Friday. Spotty storms in 81. Saturday, beautiful for the Fargo Air Show and cool on Sunday. Just a slight chance now of showers through the weekend. And look at that, 3 days in a row of sun and dry next week.
Unheard of.
It has been recently.
That forecast, I think, is going to help for attendance to that air show. It'll be comfortable out there.
Very nice to get out.
Thanks, Hutch. Later.